So fasting provides power that is not normal. And I know what I'm talking about personally. I call fasting the kingdom key to power in prayer. You can pray and still not get results. But it's impossible to pray and fast and not get results. And there are some times when our prayer doesn't have an effect. But it's always guaranteed that when you add fasting to your prayer, it has an effect. Most of us have not been encouraged to fast. We have not been taught to fast. And I want to begin with some general statements. All religions pray. So prayer is common. The Buddhists pray. The Hindus pray. The Muslims pray. The Universalists pray. Even the Satanist church pray. So prayer is not unique. Prayer is not unique to the church or religious people who are called Christians. In many cases, many religions pray more than Christian people. Now, whether they get answers is another question. But they pray more. I'm sure you are aware, you know that religions like the Hindus, they would pray for hours. The Buddhists would meditate for hours and practice meditation for hours. And they would be trying to become one with the universe. And this meditative prayer, they can be sitting out with their legs crossed, praying and meditating for days. And the Muslims pray at least 3 times a day. Wherever they are, they spread them and they face toward the east, where Mecca is, and they pray. Most Christians don't pray that much. So prayer is not the issue. Everybody does it. Of course, questions come up in your mind. Who are you praying to? What are you praying? And whether your prayer will be heard or whether it's being heard at all. These are questions that are out there. Christ himself told the Pharisees, you pray and you think that you might be heard because of your much speaking. He was talking to these Judaism leaders who were praying to Jehovah, the God you serve. But he says, you think you will be heard because you pray these long prayers. In other words, you can even be a believer in Jehovah and still not get your prayers answered. So it's not just the Muslim and the Buddhist and the Hindu and Confucius and all the others. Even the saints called the Christians could be praying and not get any answers, because he said your much speaking doesn't guarantee answers to prayer. And again, we learn in this consecration that prayer has very little to do with how long you pray. Big words don't impress God. So prayer is common. Point number 2, prayer is not an option for us. It is a necessity. God didn't leave prayer up to a decision that you make. He made it a command. Prayer is a command. You shall pray, God says. When you don't pray, you are disobedient. So you are about to enter into an experience that's going to make God very pleased with you. And when you bring pleasure to God, he then delivers what he promised. So prayer is a command. It's a law. It's a command. That leads me to point number 3. Prayer is the most common experience of the believer. And what I mean by that is every time anyone gives their lives to the Lord, they are told they should pray. So every believer is encouraged to pray. It's the most common thing you are expected to do. But here's the problem. Prayer is the most talked about subject, but least practiced. We would rather sing in the choir than pray. We would rather be an usher at the door than spend time in prayer. We'd rather play the piano in church than pray. We'd rather work in the hospitality department or work in the nursery than spend time in prayer. In other words, we would want any other activity except, please don't tell us to pray. We kind of place prayer as the thing we do once in a while when somebody makes us feel guilty about it. But I hope that you will find out that prayer is not an option anymore. And you'll see it as your most important work. Why don't people pray? Here's my answer. Because of results. They don't get results. I was brought up in a religious environment just like you, and I always question this. Why is it that on Sunday mornings, for those of you who worship on Sundays, the church building is packed with people, and if you are a Sabbath worshiper, on Saturday mornings, the church building is filled with people, and if you are a Muslim, you would find that during the worship times, everybody is in the mosque. But there's a problem, I notice. During the prayer meeting night, everybody gone. And the only people that attend the prayer meeting are some old women who ain't got nothing to do. We call them intercessors. What we really mean by that is those who pray because we don't pray. That's an intercessor to you. Those who pray because we ain't got time to do it. The prayer meeting is always the smallest meeting in every church. Check it out. I mean, to have this many people in a prayer meeting right here, this is somebody's entire church. And I've been in churches in my life where they had a lot of people on Sunday morning, and prayer meeting is like 10 people. Question, why? The answer, because people don't get results.